exactly if you don't know. So I'm going to really help you break that down and how to actually hit your health goals, and you can apply it to any other area of your life too. Not that I know, I'm not Zig Ziglar and know everything, but I listen to a lot of this stuff, so I have some good ideas. But when we look at like what really are the holidays here, this is kind of where the trap starts in looking at, really Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day are 3 days. But if you're honest with yourselves, your holidays started around Halloween, right? When you started, stocking up for all the kids coming over. And then, it's December, and it's like, well, but it's December, and it's Christmas, so yeah, I'll have an extra, venti Starbucks drink or whatever, and then it kind of carries through to the week after, the New Year's, and then it's like by the time you realize, oh crap, the holidays ended a long time ago, I should have been stopped. And then you throw in the anniversaries, the birthdays, 4th of July, all the other kind of holidays, and really, I told it's about 30 days for the average person. So really, when you look at it, it's about 100 days that you're on holidays or quote-unquote on vacation, when it comes to that. So that's over a third of, almost 25 to 30% of the year. So when you think about that, for the most part, you're really rooting your body for 1 out of every 4 days that you're alive. And so we wonder then why, the Bible and Harvard both agree that life expectancy of human beings should be 120 years, and most people are dying in their 70s and 80s in this country. Because it's like, you destroy your body for a third to 25% of your life, and so yeah, you're going to get shortened on that much time spent too. So understanding that yes, there are times during the next month that you're going to not eat right, and I actually hope that you almost look forward to it in that sense, but understand that it's not an excuse to do for the whole 100 days. So here's what the problem is, and I brought some visuals here. So the average person gains a pound during the holidays, okay? So when you think about that, this is a pound of fat, right, shortened. So if you think about what this would be like if I had you just take this on your body, let's say right here, or spread it around on your body, that's essentially what you gain over just one period of the holiday. And most studies show that any weight that you gain during the holidays tends to be weight that you'll never lose. This is kind of how that works. That's what studies show. I don't really know the mechanics behind it. That's what it is. Some people have been shown to gain up to 7 to 10 pounds. So you think about, this is 2 pounds here, right? You get the picture, it really gets disgusting when you break it down that way. But at the same time, and I'm going to use this visual again when it comes to weight loss, you can see how losing 1 pound, some people they get frustrated, they're like, oh, I lost 1 pound and I've been eating right for a month. And it's like, you just lost one of these, right? Or this ham. That's very encouraging when you actually think about it that way. And so what I like to see is people that actually lose weight throughout the holidays because of your mindset, and then you get into January when your level of resolve and there's that extra switch that flips on. We all know what happens, right? Come January, even December 31st, after the party dies down, right? You're like, all right, it's go time. And so if you can go in with that sort of, even just a little bit of momentum, it's amazing how much, it's like you have traction, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill. So my goal is that you don't put your body through any unnecessary turmoil, stress is another big thing here. And studies show, when I did the research, that 43% of all adults suffer, severe adverse effects of stress. I would even be willing to bet that it's way higher than that. Really, there's probably things that we really can't even measure that it does to that. And so I can give you a few tips, but I'm not a shrink. But really, it's about being aware of it and just know that you are under stress, and that this is most likely a stressful time of year for people. So it's just have some things planned to sort of diffuse that and get rid of it built in. So that there's a brother-in-law or something that you just know you're not going to get along with politically come Christmas, is just whatever, have an outlet for it. So, but really it affects your digestive system. It overstimulates your glands. It causes heart problems. There's a term called the Merry Christmas coronary, because Christmas Day is actually the highest day of the year where people have heart attacks in the United States. That's why it's the Merry Christmas coronary. And why? Probably because people have been eating like garbage for 70 days in a row, starting back at Halloween, and then you throw on a bunch of stress on top of that, whether it's financial or family or whatever, and it's like boom, your heart explodes. Or really, it probably was the results of many, many, many years of that kind of stuff happening. So, #1 day of heart attacks. And they've even found stress causes skin conditions, asthma, arthritis, depression, obviously, and anxiety too. So it costs about $300 billion our country for just stress alone. So again, it's like, well, it's like saying removing your stress is kind of like saying, eat right, eat better and whatever. And it's like, well, where's something tangible to that? So I just put up a small list here of things. Assessing your values. And what that means is like really, and again, I find most people really don't ever do this a whole lot, like actually writing down like what is important to you. Meaning like, if family's important to you, like literally write it down and figure out how can you incorporate more of that, or if whatever watching football is, figure out how to put more football in your life. If going on trips is, figure out how to do that. I mean, again, it's like if it's always just kind of floating around and it's never landed somewhere concrete, it just doesn't really ever happen a whole lot. Getting a mentor, and that could be in an area where you want to see yourself improve in. And honestly, it could be a friend. It could be a friend that you just admire them in a certain area and just asking them like, hey, would you be willing over the next whatever year to just kind of either let's text. Like I used to have the hardest time waking up in the morning. Like literally, I would sleep until like the last possible second that I would have to get out of bed. And I just realized like that's not a very healthy thing to do. And so my friends and I, until we built the habit, we would actually text each other at a certain time in the morning. It was actually at 6 in the morning. We would text each other to make sure that we were up. If we weren't up, we would keep texting and calling and calling and calling. Now, every now and then you just shut your phone off and they couldn't get a hold of you. But really, it did help me create that pattern. So now, like, I could kind of wake up, at that time on my own because it's more of a regular thing for me. So, setting limits, that's pretty self-explanatory. Make a war plan. I'm going to go over that. And really, when it comes to, like, I like that word war. I use that very strongly because trying to live in our society is really like going to war every single day. Don't procrastinate. Reducing emergencies. Discipline, that really comes and helps with like mentorship and accountability. The amount of mentorship and accountability you have is really proportional to how much discipline you'll be able to kind of improve and gather. Exercising really helps. I mean, they call it the exercise high, but it's critical, and they found always that when people, that exercise versus taking an antidepressant, the exercising people always do as well, if not better, than people that are taking antidepressants. And then for me, prayer is huge for me on that. So discipline is the faithful friend who will introduce you to your true self. Discipline is the worthy protector who will defend you from your lesser self. And discipline is the extraordinary mentor who will challenge you to become the best version of yourself. And that's what I love. It's like you can't expect to be the best person in everything, but we can always strive to become the best version of ourselves. And so for me, one thing that I'll just say this, my church actually literally rents out DPAC the 23rd and 24th. So if you don't have like a place to go to for Christmas, I know that was like a quick transition there, but I just remember that was kind of piggybacks on the faith thing and the prayer thing, right? But it's really awesome. My mother-in-law, who hadn't been to church in like 15 years, and they hadn't even gone like on a Christmas or Easter or anything, went to the service that they did last year, and she loved it actually. Like they do, it's like a very contemporary, like they'll do like kind of a lot of, they're very talented people, classic kind of Christmas carols, and then a good message on top of that. So it's really, really good. I'm gonna go there, and it's free to go there, and it's pretty cool being the DPAC, kind of right there. Yeah, you have to get tickets. They're free. So if you just search Christmas at DPAC, Google, you'll get tickets. I'm Ticketmaster, so you actually have a seat in DPAC. It's pretty awesome. So omegas, and so this is another stress buster. Because remember, fats are going to be the key to helping your brain. And I wanted to highlight this real quick because we actually just got a new formulation of this stuff in where they quadrupled the amount of omega-3 in there. So it used to have only about 600 milligrams of omega-3. Now it has 2.4 grams of omega-3, which is huge. So what I love about Maximize Living in their supplement line is that they're always constantly improving and bettering the formulas and absorbability and testing that. And they added all that stuff in there, and the price didn't go up in that. But you see this so EFAs, that stands for essential fatty acid. It blocked the abnormal signaling in the brain, which is present in depression and mania. So EFAs also produce serotonin levels in the brain. So remember, serotonin is kind of like the happy hormone when you feel that. So you don't just have to take a supplement. I mean, this is going to come from like coconut oil, butter, and other things. Other good avocados, other good healthy fats. But sometimes again, supplements are to help improve where you know you're just kind of still lacking and not doing as well as you could be with your nutrition. So somebody was asking about a cookie recipe. In the Maximize Living book, they have a lot of really good recipes. They actually can make, there's a way to make eggnog healthy, no sugar, which is awesome, right? And it actually tastes really good. And you can, I've made it at other workshops in the past just to show how fast that you can make it, but you can really make it in less than 10 minutes. You can make as much of it as you want, and when you make it the healthy way, you can drink as much of it as you want too. Now, obviously, there you know rum in there or whatever it is would not be good. But I guess if you're gonna put rum in, you might as well put rum in healthy eggnog and make my healthy eggnog. kind of get some of the good stuff. But yeah, they use like coconut milk and the spices, nutmeg and whatever. But what's great, so when you're sipping on that and drinking that, it's like you're getting like lots of good healthy fats with that too. So it's very, very good for your body. There's also like chocolate macaroons in there. There's some almond cookies, chocolate bark. There's a way to make healthy pumpkin pie. Breads, things like that too. So a lot of just good kind of classic holiday recipes that you can put just a little bit of a twist on it. It's a health twist. So what I love then is that like when we do Christmas at our house, like when my wife makes it, like literally I just eat nonstop all day for like 5 days, and it's all healthy, so I don't feel like garbage other than being full. Okay, so what's very key, especially this time of the year, is drinking plenty of water. And I say that because it's like very obvious advice, but what I found, because I'm guilty of this too, is that as it gets cooler, or on a day like today when it's freezing out there, you're not sweating, and you find that people just don't drink water unless you think you're hot or something. So this is actually, I find more people get dehydrated during the winter time than actually during the summertime. Okay, so you really want to go above and beyond. And remember, the classic rule is doing half your body weight in ounces. Okay. So I weigh 150 pounds, that would mean you want to shoot for 75 ounces. I want to shoot for 75 ounces a day. I use these bottles here just because it's very easy for me to measure that, okay? So each one of these is about 34 ounces, so I need to drink about 2 and a little bit per day. So that's my goal. So I'll literally pull them out in the morning, set them on my counter, and I try to drink the first one in the morning, and I'm actually a little bit behind, so I need to do this and a little bit more by the end of today, but that's where it is, okay? But it's so key because you want to be in a detoxified mode, again, this time of year too, so the more water you drink, the more your body's going to be flushing and removing excess fluid, toxins, and the like there. And I'll even talk, you can add a little bit of lemon into that water too, and that really helps your body. But dehydration, and really being dehydrated as little as 5%, and we're about 60-70% water, human beings are. If you get dehydrated by about 5%, they can find that literally causes partial brain damage. Your brain shuts down that much. So it's really, really sensitive how your body happens. You can see it causes people to gain weight, swelling in the brain. It literally leads to diabetes. Chronic dehydration, they found, leads to your pancreas beginning to shut down, and your cholesterol even goes up too. So there's a lot of things that you can just change by drinking more of the good old H2O, okay? Very, very simple. Protein too, so this is also, and I'm going to talk about this in a second here, but making sure you nail your breakfast in the morning is absolutely critical because, breakfast is something pretty easy to control no matter what, no matter where you are or if you're traveling. And so that's one thing is I always make sure no matter what, I was just at my dad actually just came into town here, he's driving through, but when I was there, like we made sure we had eggs, we made eggs every single morning, even Thanksgiving morning to make sure I had a good breakfast, just because it puts your body in the right zone. And then Max Greens here too, and I'm going to show you how powerful this stuff is in just a few minutes, a little demo here. But what Max Greens does is that it's extremely, well, number one, the amount of nutrition there, but it has digestive enzymes, which means that it kind of primes the pump and just gets your body ready for the abuse you're about to put in it. So it kind of just puts them in a good mode of digesting and breaking down that food. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put this Max Greens in here with this snack pack. Actually, I hadn't had a snack pack in like 10 years, and I was almost tempted to take a little bite out of it, but I didn't. So I'm just going to mix this up real good. Then I'll let it sit for a few minutes, and this will blow your mind. Dave already volunteered to be the volunteer, so. Yeah. All right, so I'll let that sit. So I have another one here, just for comparison. Okay, so you can see this stuff is pretty solid. I'll let that sit for just a few. pounds. Okay. So, again, and then you can put this in water, and it's like, your nutrition intake is probably going to go down. So, you do something extreme, like trying to do a couple scoops of that a day, and make sure you're at least getting, a couple dozen servings of vegetables along with your food. It's really big when I'm traveling too. I'll buy a bottle of water in the airport. I'll have, I don't bring this when I'm traveling, but I'll have maybe a little tiny Ziploc bag. And it's pretty easy just to kind of to drop it in there. And then you got max greens, and again, when you're traveling and doing all that stuff, you want to have a super strong immune system, and there's no better way to strengthen your immune system than eat tons and tons and tons and tons of vegetables, okay? So, I'm almost tempted to pull this slide out every single year, but I think it's valuable. So, and I'm very, very strategic with this word here in binging, all right, because that's probably what's about to happen. But there's actually a right way, I'll say a right way of binging that you can kind of minimize the damage that's going to happen. And I already talked a little bit about it, but what this is going to do is it's going to put your body and kind of make it as absorb as least amount of the bad stuff as possible. So like I said, 20 grams of protein in the morning. So make sure that the first meal of the day, no matter what, and you got to block this off no matter what, is that's actually going to be a healthy meal. So like I said, eggs, you could do like 2 or 3 eggs in the morning, or make a protein shake. And it's pretty easy when you're traveling. I mean, at the very least, even if the people you're staying with don't have berries, don't have coconut milk, you could at least put the protein powder or something like that just in water, or a glass of almond milk or something, and at least have that. Because nailing that or failing to do this means that your metabolism is going to be very, very, very low, which means that all the stuff you're going to do, you're going to be more apt to pack on the pounds and gain the weight. If you nail your breakfast, again, at least your metabolism is going to be spiked up to its highest level, so you're going to burn through that stuff a lot faster. Lots of citric juices, like lemon or lime, squeezed in the water. It actually helps to buffer and balance your blood sugar. So for those of you at the seminar about a month ago, we talked about insulin and insulin sensitivity. So remember, the more insulin that gets produced, or the more sugar you have, the more insulin gets produced, and the more you actually go into storage mode. So what happens is the lemon and the lime actually kind of buffers and manages it, so where normally if you eat something bad, you get a very quick spike. Let's say you eat like a piece of bread, it's going to spike your insulin very quickly. It kind of like mellows out the effect and kind of is more of a slow, gentle rise and fall rather than a spike and a fall like that. So when I go out to eat, and for example, when I go to Bonefish, I love their bread. It's like they have like the best bread. I don't know what they literally put drugs in there, I think. But and I go there a lot because it's one of my favorite restaurants. So when I go there, and I don't have it every single time, but every now and then it's like, all right, I'm going to have bread. And so when I do, I make sure that I ask for lots of lemon, and I put in my water, and I drink at least a full glass before I allow myself to eat the bread. Again, is it going to cure me from what's about to happen? Absolutely not. But again, I'm just trying to kind of damage control, maybe is the right word with that. And then caffeine after a meal actually speeds up gastric emptying. So I mean, your stomach will just kind of flush you through faster. And so, when you think about it too, that's what the Europeans do. Like they pretty much, they do coffee like after every single meal. I don't think that's the only reason why they're helping us, but there's probably something to that, whether they know it or not. And so maybe if you want to drink coffee late at night, because you need to be off bouncing out the walls, you can maybe do some green tea, or something like that. So again, simple enough where if they don't have green tea where you're going, you can put a few, packets in your, suitcase and bring that along with you too, okay? Or run out to Starbucks or something. And the other key is literally doing, we call them like restroom squats or bathroom squats, is that you do just a very, very, very quick burst of exercise right before you eat. And you guys think I'm crazy, but that's why I usually we call them bathroom squats, because you're probably not going to do this in front of your family, so you just like, I'm going to go wash my hands. 30 seconds, 60 seconds later, you come out huffing and puffing, and you're like, that was a really vigorous hand washing. But the thing is, then, as soon as you do that, a short little burst, your human growth hormone skyrockets, your testosterone skyrockets, your estrogen drops. So again, you're going to be like, your metabolism is like on fire at that point too. So, I mean, really, if you wanted to, you could do that before every single meal. But I'm just saying, like, it's worth doing it. Just try it. Try it. Some of you are going to come back and say, like, I did the restroom squats. I'll even do this sometimes if I'm out to eat and I know the food is like there's nothing good on the menu. Like I'll go to the bathroom and right before I wash my hands, I'm like in the stall doing squats. I'm serious. You guys think I'm crazy? It works, okay? And then also, I'll take Max GI for bloating, literally, in order to make sure that doesn't happen. And then I take extra, I'll actually do double up on the detox system because just so I can pull more stuff out of me faster. So I'll do that when I know I'm going to be eating bad food. So this little formula right here, again, we'll call it damage control for lack of a better term. But it'll allow you to do the binging that you want to do with minimal kind of damage. And really, again, within reason, some of the principles that are on here, you can incorporate that on a regular basis. I mean, doing lemon water is completely acceptable. It's super easy to do. You can do some exercises before you want to eat, but really also doing caffeine after a meal is also very good. And you should be doing good breakfast anyways, okay? So, let me see if this is ready to go. Oh, okay. Dave, you ready to be the volunteer?
Sure.
All right, do you trust me? Okay. So, put that, right? That's that one. It's not going anywhere. And then I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do this one. So remember, this is the one I put the Max Greens in. What, about 5 minutes ago? Ready?
Oh!
That's what digestive enzymes do. So it even killed all the, who knows, I don't think there's probably one natural ingredient in it. I don't think I saw that, but it poured out like liquid. I don't know if you can see that in the back there, but you can see it laying there. And then again, for control, there's that one. Okay, so it didn't go anywhere. So that stuff belongs anyways to the garbage, okay? So that's why this is actually really, 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 really good to do before you eat, okay? Like do a scoop of that or half a scoop of that and just a glass of water and chug that down. You see, like if that's gonna do that into your stomach and chew up pudding like that in a matter of seconds, minutes really, imagine what it does for healthy food, really. It breaks it down even easier, makes it that much more able to be assimilated. So, I think that's pretty awesome, right? Somebody told me about that. So, powerful, powerful, powerful visual. So, when we look at goals here and kind of shifting into what 2015 is going to look like, the acronym you want to remember is SMART, okay, for goals. So, the S stands for specific, the M stands for measurable, the A stands for attainable, R is relevant, and then T is time bound. So meaning that specific means, like I'm going to use weight as an example. If I want to lose 10 pounds, that is obviously very specific, right? Measurable, can you measure if you lost 10 pounds or not? Yep. Is that attainable for most people? Absolutely. Is it relevant? Yeah, if 10 pounds is going to make you healthier, absolutely. And then the time bound would be that I would going to lose 10 pounds by X date, right? Whether it's within the year or within a month or whatever the case would be. So you lay that all out there like this, and that is really the key there too. So it really helps you provide that. And again, I know this, some of the stuff is like almost obvious when it comes to that, but a lot of people don't have success because you aren't actually being this specific when it comes to what you want, either when it comes to your health, when it comes to your finances, relationships or whatever. So doing and beginning with the end in mind, and you work backwards from that, right? So it's like, I want to get to, if I'm 150 and I want to get to 140, so it's like, okay, I'm 140, so that means I need to break it down. If I want to lose that in a year, then roughly how much do I need to lose per month if I want to lose 10 pounds in a year? About a pound, a little bit less than a pound, right? And so then it's like, okay, so I can have a stop check, so by the end of January, I need to be around 149, right? If come February, I'm still at 149, and that means I need to work twice as hard right through March to try to catch up. So having that level of measurability allows you to actually get where you want to be, or whatever, it could be, you want to save, I don't know, $5,000 next year. Then again, break it down. So that would you need to do about $400 a month, about $100 a week. You can even break it even further down from that, and you're looking at about $15 a day. So when you break it down, my math wasn't good there, but the MBA, was it good? Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Is that you break it down, then you start looking, okay, $15, like, yeah, is there something I blew my money on $15 today that I probably didn't, that I could have saved instead? And then you start, really generating momentum when it comes to that. So part of it too is thinking about the long-term effect of that. So the behaviors that you're living right now, or the ones you're trying to change, if you don't change that, what's the consequence of where you're going to be in, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years from now if you don't change it now? And there's a principle called pain versus pleasure, and what I find is that pain actually drives people to make actions better than pleasure does. And it just is what it is, and that's probably a reason why a lot of people kind of initially come into like our office here, is because they have some, and it may not be physical pain, or it could be the pain of taking a medication or high blood pressure or something, there's that pain with that. But what can happen is that, so you have to kind of almost generate pain in yourself, meaning like thinking about, sometimes that people have written, I've had people write out their obituaries, meaning so like when you die, like what would people write about you? And I've had mentors do this for me, and then you can kind of like, if you wrote yourself about where you are right now, like what people would say about you when you die, you can get really real fast and be like, oh gosh, like instead of playing, 50 hours of video games a week, maybe that guy could have spent more time with his family, something like that. So it really helps put things into perspective. So some of you may need to do that to kind of create leverage. So here are the categories that I use for goals. So every year, in fact, it's something I really look forward to. I have a little routine on New Year's Day. I sit down on my computer and I write down. And these are always a work on progress, but I really focus it hardcore. So I do financial, my health goals, business, career, my faith goals, family, and then personal. This would be kind of like personal development. So I'll set financial goals. I'll set like a savings goal or a debt payoff goal for my health. I'll set maybe like a performance goal, like in the gym, or something with my spine, like maybe trying to do 3 times a week, my traction or my home care exercises. I'll set goals for the office for the year. I set goals in faith in a sense that maybe I'll have a goal of reading 3 Christian books that are not the Bible. Like I just said, and again, very specific, and I have dates that I'll set behind all of that. Family goals, so that could be like, taking this trip to that place, or, whatever. It's kind of, for me, one of my family goals right now is trying to learn how to speak French, which is hard. So that's a goal I need to reassess because it didn't really work all that well this past year. But that happens, right? But and then personal would be something like, maybe read it like another personal development book other than something Christian or wise to. But so there's more categories that you could use, and I even sometimes break these down even a little bit more specifically. But I promise you, this is gonna really motivate you. So again, here's kind of how you break it down. 20 pounds would be about 2 pounds a month, about 0.5 pounds a week. So the goal would be to lose a little bit of this each week. And the key then is how do I do that? So once you set the goal, it's like, all right, what's the plan? What's the roadmap? You can't just put that, and then you have to have a plan for that. So my plan would be to work out 3 times a week, and as specific as doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because I know if I leave it to, let's say, Saturday and Sunday, my personality, it's not going to work. So I have it scheduled Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I would do the advanced plan for the first 90 days of the year, so January through March. And then I would go back onto the core plan, the rest of that time there. And then I would do, let's say, 6 supplies of daily detox throughout the year. If I had amalgams, I would get my amalgams out, whatever. So I'm looking at all the things that I would need to physically take action on in order to help me make those goals. Is this helpful? Is this good? So again, it's like, I'm telling you the difference between people that succeed where they want to go, whether you know it or not, you do some form of this. Or if you're not succeeding, I promise you are not doing this, or you're not doing it with enough specificity or enough pain associated with it to drive that action. So a Harvard MBA study in 1979, this is powerful. So of the people in the graduating class, MBA graduating class in 1979, they polled them, 3% had written goals and plans, just 3%, all right? 13% had goals, but they were not in writing. They were kind of like, they had the goals kind of floating around in their head. And then the other 84% had no goals whatsoever, all right? So then they came back 10 years later. The 13% that had goals but were not in writing were earning double the amount of so these are Harvard MBA graduates, right? Probably, difference between $100,000 and $200,000. They were earning 2 times the amount as the 84%. The 3% were earning 10 times as much as the other 97% combined. So that's not motivation to write some goals, whether it's for money or your health. You see it be and they've replicated this study many times since then. This is just kind of the most, because this is whatever the smartest, most accomplished group that they looked at, but it comes into play anywhere. And so I'm talking if the whole group made $1 million, these guys right here were earning 10 million versus that 1 million all combined. So it was crazy amounts. So here is literally my calendar for next week. So this is what I talk about when I work plan. I know this looks like crazy, and I was like, oh my God. This is not perfect. It fluctuates, it changes, but this is sort of penciled in for me, and most of this stuff is static, meaning like it's always going to be there. Like for example, the adjusting shifts that I have here in the office, those are what we call solid yellow lines. So, you know, unless I, whatever, am sick or whatever, like that is going to happen no matter what. So all the blue that you see on here is all stuff that I have associated with work, you know, or doing work from home. Red is personal, okay? Yellow is family. And my family time is very loose because, of course, it's going to fluctuate, you know, with that. And it's not like I'm like, oh, you know, if it's 4 o'clock on Saturday and it's like, you know, we're with my family. It's like, all right, bye, and I like leave it. No, but it's like, it's a rough estimate that, you know, during this time right here, no matter what, you know, I may not shut off my phone, but I'm definitely not looking at it nonstop, right? Or I may not, you know, completely, you know, shut that stuff out. But sometimes I do. Like at nighttime here, during like baby's bath time and story time and stuff, it's like everything else is off because I know that I'm human nature. I'm gonna be distracted. I'm actually looking forward to watching the football game tonight because they won't be here, you know, so it's good. So I'll be able to actually watch that. But even look at like my personal time. So it's like from 1 to 4, 4:30 on Sunday. I'm gonna watch football, and like I'm not gonna do anything else unless I want to. But it's like I'm allowing myself to do that. But then come 4:30, because I know the games get over by 4:30, I'm gonna spend an hour and a half or so kind of planning for the week ahead for the office, and just things I need to write out, type out, you know, goals and stuff. And then 6 o'clock to 7:30, kind of while we're making dinner, that's when my wife and I, we do food prep for the week. So that's where, and again, this is actually very set in stone because we're eating dinner every single Sunday. So every single Sunday this time, you know, we'll do any type of food prep that we need to do, like extra cooking. If we know we're gonna have a busy week. We haven't had to do that as much just because my wife's been home with the baby. So, but at the same time, as she gets more active, we're probably gonna have to build that back in again because my wife's not gonna be able to like be entertaining her over here and try to cook, you know, on the stove on that side there. And then, you know, on Sunday night, kind of from 7:30 to that, you know, that's usually when I watch more TV or watch a movie, just kind of decompress and get ready for the week. And you can see it kind of goes through the week like that. So this is iCal, it's through Mac, you know, whatever. But you know, Google Calendars, you can do something exactly like this for free, or just get a plain old calendar with time slots and write it in there. Now, this by the end of the week here probably only looks about 60 to 75% of what's actually going to happen because emergencies are going to come up, and you know, I may be able to work on the website stuff in the morning. So some of these things that I schedule are they have dotted yellow lines. So the principle, you know, if you're driving and you have solid yellow lines, that means do not pass, right? Or there's danger. Dotted yellow lines, you can kind of pass with caution. So something like my website would have dotted yellow lines, which means that if something else came up that had a higher priority than that, completely fine to just kind of brush it off to the side there. Oh, that wasn't planned. I can't see that because I haven't seen them in like a week and I'm going to start missing them, so I got to stay focused. But you can see this right here in the morning, my reading Bible and praying. And like, listen, I'm realistic. For me, reading the Bible for an hour in the morning is not going to happen. I'm going to probably fall asleep and just snooze off. But 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, very realistic for me. So again, it's very, you know, I set realistic goals. You see my workout times in there. They are blocked off, all right? And they are mostly solid yellow lines there too, because I know exactly when the class is. Listen, if I don't have my workouts scheduled going into the week, they don't happen. They really don't, because I can always find something better to do than put myself through punishment, right? And so, but when I schedule to it, I commit to it, it's on there, and unless the world is ending, like I will be there for that, okay? So again, you may not be creating something as extreme as this, because most of you might have like your day is pretty set, like let's say you work 9 to 5, so there's not as many moving parts that go along with it, but could you see how this could really help you a lot with planning and pretty much any area of your life, okay? So I'm telling you, it works. This is why I call it my war plan. And I see I do it every single Sunday at 4:30 to about 6 o'clock, okay? And it really helps me out a lot. So on-the-go workouts, okay? I know I'm really bouncing around a lot of different topics here, but remember that you can do workouts anywhere at any time with no equipment, okay? And so get creative. Now with smartphones, if you don't know what to do and you're like at your brother's house or whatever, it's like pull out YouTube on your phone, type in quick on YouTube, going quick, you know, body weight workout, and a billion of them will pop up. Click on one, follow them, and it's like you just follow what they're doing. You don't have to have equipment for it. So You know, Max T3 is good. They have some good examples in there on things you can do on the go. So, you know, here's like a quick example of a quick set. So you do 10 burpees, 15 push-ups, 25 crunches, 10 jump squats, and then you do that 4 times. That'll actually kill you. But even if you did that once, it would be really, really good. Okay. But really, you can see though, like it doesn't. None of this stuff requires equipment, so you can just do it. You know, no matter where you are. I mean, you can even do that on a layover, right? Go in the family room. I just discovered this. I didn't know they had like a bathroom that you can go in there. Like whatever, go in there and do a little workout, lock the door, and then come out. It's all good, right?
You probably don't want to do like burpees and what's a foot fire?
Foot fires, then you lay on your back and you do the flutters. I can't do it standing up, you know what I mean? But like it's like a flutter kicks with the feet, yeah, abs, core workout, yeah. So again, and if you don't know if none of these are in your repertoire, you can Google bodyweight exercises, you know, and there's like a billion that'll pop up. And you just write down a few that sound good, or you know, YouTube is a very powerful tool for exercise, because everybody's trying to make names for themselves on there, and they got really free workouts and demonstrations too. So the key is the high intensity, short duration, and the key, especially during the holidays, is to do that early on in the morning. All right. Now, for me, over the holidays, this past time, it was all about my body kind of catching up and kind of resting and not doing anything strenuous, so I didn't do this, but normally I would do the workout first thing just because it's going to, again, jumpstart everything as they go. So toxins, you know, we always go over our 5 essentials here. Listen, you're going to be eating toxic food. Just plan on eating the detox after that. So here's a sample day for me. Holiday, I'll call this a holiday day. So wake up and do a quick 10-minute burst, okay? And the earlier you do this before people get up, the easier it's going to get to do it because you're not going to be getting pulled in a million different directions then. I'll do a perfect protein smoothie or eggs for breakfast, and then I'll take detox in the morning. For lunch, I'll really work on trying to get as absolutely many vegetables as possible. I usually throw a salad at that time. You know, most families even make some type of a salad. And I'll do a lot of lemon water beforehand. And then before dinner, lots of lemon water again. I'll do my restroom squats, and I'll do max greens before I eat dinner, and then coffee, green tea, or any whatever other type of caffeine, and I'll do the max GI after dinner. All right, so that's kind of what I would do as far as let's call it a damage control health plan on a day when you are probably eating 2 not so good meals. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. You fail to plan and you plan to fail, you fail to plan, however that statement goes, okay? So travel tips. So if you are driving somewhere, bring your spinal rolls, okay? Take the little one right here, put it in the back of your seat right there. It will help your spine when you're traveling. I mean, even as short of distance as an hour or less even, it's good to have this right here. But if you're driving like across the states or up to, you know, the Northeast or to Texas or Florida, whatever, put this little thing in there. You're going to want to use them, you know, when you get to your, you know, grandma's house that has a crappy mattress that's 8 years old anyway. So you might as well bring these so you can kind of do some stuff for spinal molding there. If you're flying, same thing. I mean, plane seats are horrible. I mean, I was just on one. It's like you're like this unless you do something. So you put this in your carry-on, and it's going to force you to have good posture for the 2 or 3 hours while you're on the flight. And even if you're walking, whatever, you can still shove them in your backpack. They're very light. Bring enough supplements for the days that you are gone, all right? For snacks, you can pack raw nuts or apples, okay? Sometimes you can find that stuff in most airports. And if you know you're going on for a long time, then you can adjust it a little bit extra beforehand, and then definitely when you get back, right? Let's say you're going to be gone for a whole week. You know, most people usually like to get the double up when they get back because they know they need it more than or whatever, but it really, really is important. You don't just want to skip that week. But I usually it's actually better really to do it going into so that you can get the most out of your holidays. Then that's just my opinion as a chiropractor, you know, for 5 years, adjusting about 50,000 people. So this is what I found to be better. Okay. Yeah. What do I know, right? Yeah. Exactly. So this is very, very key. Like, you know, you're probably not going to bring your whole get up, right? Especially if you're flying. But these, no matter how thick I've ever packed my suitcase, I've always been able to fit these in my carry-on or in my suitcase at the very least. Okay. So bring those along with you. And then that way when you sleep on the waterbed from the 80s, at least you have some level of support. You guys know what I'm talking about. I tell you what, 5 times a week I hear it, which may not seem like a lot, but it is a lot. It's like people are like, oh, I was gone out of town, I slept in a hotel mattress, or I was on whatever my family member's house, and the mattress sucked, and now my body hurts. And it's like, well, like, yes, if you would have done this, it probably would not hurt as much, okay? So just trust me, it helps. So I have, for supplements, I bought one of these things here. I think we got it from Walmart, actually. And so what I'll do is I'll load this up with everything on the go. So everything that I know I need to take for myself. It just makes it a lot easier instead of trying to bring like a ton of bottles. Or so I'll put my one vitamin D, one vitamin E, one vitamin E, you know, and then B vitamin, etc., and all that kind of stuff laid out in there. And then what's really cool is that they actually pop out like this. And so even if I'm like, let's say going out, I can put that in my pocket at lunchtime, pull them out, take them with food, take them with water, whatever, and then slip it back in. So this is like $7. There's a bunch of different types of that. I mean, for me, I have a hard time. I have to use both containers to fit everything that I take in there. But it really helps keep track. I do it even at home, even if I'm not traveling, because it helps me keep track. So on Sunday, when we're doing our food prep, I'll load up all my supplements there too, so I know I just remember to take them that way, and I'm less likely to forget. So a lot of times I'll pop that up, put it in my pocket, you know, in the office, and then I'll eventually at some point be like, oh yeah, I forgot to take those, and then because they're sitting in there. Okay? Rather than shoving like gel capsules in your pocket and you sit down, and then the next thing you know, your pants smell like fish oil. Like that's happened to me before. Not fun. And it stayed in forever. So you can trust me from that perspective too. Airport scanners. I wanted to talk about this too because you guys just don't, I know most people don't know this. These things are horrible, all right? And the TSA will try to like convince you otherwise, but they literally don't even know what they're saying. They're giving you scripted answers because one time we went through the airport. In fact, what's hilarious is that at a Maximize Living Center, you can only imagine, like we go to Orlando a lot, so there'll be about 1,000 people on the Sunday when we go home that'll go through the airport. Have anybody ever been to the Orlando airport? It is nuts all the time, right? Because Disneyland and stuff is there. It's just nuts all the time. So literally 1,000 people between the hours of like 6 a.m. and like 2 p.m. on that Sunday when the seminar's over, we'll all go through there and we'll all opt out, and like they literally just look like they want to shoot every single one of us. But here's the thing. So one time we went through that, and so they were getting really frustrated. And they're like, it's safe. It's not even radiation. And what I said was, well, actually, I have about 2 years of training in radiology, and that's absolutely not true. And then the guy goes, oh, really? He had no idea. He was just saying that. So it uses a form of millimeter wave scanning. And I just was just curious about the technology. Because I mean, I would never do it even if it said it was safe, because I feel like it's an invasion of privacy. But there was a study this year that found that millimeter wave scanning does DNA damage, and it's carcinogenic. Think the TSA people know that? Not a chance, right? Or they're told they have a scripted answer for that. So you can absolutely opt out. They make you think like you're a criminal. You're not, okay? And it really, I've never had to take more than 3 to 5 minutes extra.
What do you say?
You just say opt out. So you know, like they get the line in there, and you say I'm opting out, and then they make you go to the side. And then what I do is I'll just go like this, and they say stand here, and I just assume the position right away. No, and then they know like I got nothing to hide, like I didn't opt out because I'm trying to hide something, like I know what they're about to do, and really like they're just like they don't do much, they really don't, okay? Like they don't want to be touching you, they want to be touching you less than you even want them to be touching you, you know what I'm saying? So absolutely opt out. I mean, even when I've been rushing, it's like I've never gone through that thing because number one, I don't want this to happen. But really, it's like, have you ever seen what they look at on you on the scan? Like that's what it's like, it's pornography practically with that thing. So like, it's ridiculous, and I just don't feel comfortable. So it's nice when you have a baby and we have a dog. So we just got the opt out. You know, we didn't have to go. Which is it's stupid, you know, because we had the dog and the baby. And so they didn't even pat us down. They let us go through the metal detector for no reason. So it's like, well, because they don't want the dog to go through, and they don't want the baby to go through. So, and when my wife is pregnant, they didn't let my wife go through there either. So she didn't have to say opt out. They said. So it's like if they know, right? You see what I'm saying? Like it's a bunch of hogwash. So start opting out. You'll become friends with TSA agents very, very quickly. You know, the only ones that I found are grumpy are in Nashville. They're the ones, they were just really rude about it for some reason. They were all like people, they really don't care at all. So that's Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. I know, because we've done it. Flu shot, okay? Who heard the most recent news about the flu shots? for me, I'm like, well, no duh. Like, I guarantee that happens every single year. I'll show you in a second. But the majority of what people feel that they think is the flu is really just fatigue, being run down, a little bit of cough, right? It's like, how do they actually know you have the flu? Do they test you? They don't, right? In fact, they'll say that between 15 to 20,000 people die a year from the flu. But if you actually pull the vital statistics from the CDC each year and actually look up how many people die from the flu, it ends up being less than 20. Less than 20 people actually die from the flu. And the last one I looked at was 2012. And of the 20 people that died of the flu, only 2, I think, were confirmed that they actually found that they had the influenza virus in them at the time. So it doesn't kill people. In my opinion, the flu shots kill people, and the antibiotics that they give you, that's what kills people there. So the chief vaccine control officer of the FDA, the former one, said there's no evidence that any flu vaccine thus far developed is effective in preventing or mitigating any attack of influenza. But the producers of these vaccines, they know they're worthless if they go on selling these. Can you imagine? So they made all these millions and millions of vaccines. The CDC comes out and says it's only 52% effective. Can you imagine, like, the pharmaceutical companies are thinking, like, well, what the heck do we do with all these? Because people are going to now, like, why the heck should I get that? So they're going to unload them and just push them super, super, super hard, right? Because they'll say, oh, still get it anyways because you may get some protection. But a chiropractic adjustment is absolutely the best thing. That, in fact, I forgot to do it this year. I said I was going to do it, but I forgot. I'm going to put up a banner. Maybe I still can do it. Get your flu adjustment here, okay? Instead of your flu shot. Because studies that were done, this was done actually at Emory down in Atlanta, a big medical school back in 1990. They found that, so people that were HIV positive, so the worst of the worst immune systems, when they got one adjustment and their white blood cells were tested after that, there was a 48% increase in your white blood cells. This was studies done by medical doctors, right, along with chiropractors. And so if you're sick and Lonnie calls you, what does she always say if you don't feel good? Yeah, come in anyways, right? Some of you have had that done before. It's like, well, I don't want to because I don't want to spread my germs on here. Like, as if what you're going to bring in here is something that people have not been exposed to already. I mean, come on. I mean, it's everywhere. Like, who are you kidding that you think that, you only get sick if somebody coughs on you? These germs are everywhere. They're in your mouth, actually, right? You have influenza in your mouth right now, whether you want to believe it or not, okay? Also, interleukin-2, they found that adjustments that were done to your mid-back. Listen, even doctors don't understand immunology. They're such retards when it comes to that. So, sorry, I didn't mean to use that word. They're dumb. Okay. Because by the time, just so you know, by the time you express symptoms, you're in what's called the latent phase of the virus, which means you're no longer asymptomatic. So if you were symptomatic anyways, it was before you knew you even had it. So it's like, I don't want to cough on you. It's like, well, you're just going to cough whatever mucus on you. It's harmless. It's just mucus. So interleukin-2 and proleukin actually comes from adjustments in your mid-back, whether you like them or not. But this vial of interleukin-2 right here, called proleukin by Chiron Pharmaceuticals, this little thing right here, it's used for cancer patients, costs $7,000 out of pocket to pay for that. And when you get an adjustment, your rates of interleukin-2 will go up by 200% 4 hours after you get adjusted. So we're talking the most powerful immune drug that a pharmaceutical company makes, and by the way, they make a synthetic version of it. Your body makes it 4 hours for 200% greater than after you get adjusted. So that's why you get adjusted and you don't feel it. Or better yet, you get adjusted so you don't get sick in the first place. So literally right off the CDC website or CNN, flu shot less effective this year because current virus is mutated. And you know what? This is the first year they've actually admitted this, but I guarantee that happens every single year. Because how many of you know somebody, and know a lot of people that got the flu shot and they still got the flu? Why? Because it mutated. They're just actually finally willing to admit it this year. And again, it's hilarious because then now they're saying, oh, we're more concerned about the flu because that means less people are going to be protected. It's like, forget about it. It happens every single year. Oh, by the way, where's Ebola? What happened with Ebola? Yeah, we forgot about that. Apparently it was going to kill every single person. It's gone. It's like, don't believe the hype you hear on the news. Don't believe the hype your doctor tries to push on you. It's like, it's all hype, all right? It fear sells, and it's ridiculous, okay? So vitamin D is the #1 supplement immune-wise, and we actually, I don't know if anybody got this yet, but we have a new formulation came out. Again, I love it. They put 10 times the amount of probiotics in there than what they had before. So there used to be 1 billion, now there's 10 billion see if there's a probiotics in there. And again, they did added all that amazing content to it without increasing the price. So it's really, really good. Vitamin D is really important for like this time of year too, for things like anxiety and seasonal affective disorder. And what that is that that's the kind of a disorder that people get when it's winter out, you're not as much sunlight, so you feel like you have to be indoors all the time, you just kind of get depressed going out of your house. Well, they found low vitamin D levels cause that. Again, it's because there's no sun, so you're not getting it from the sun, all right? So again, what I love is that the immune system, the sun actually provides the immune system boost. Now, we just don't get as much, so I really think people should do more like 10,000 IUs a day during this time of the year, rather than 5,000, just because you're not outside nearly as much, and much less the sun is not nearly as effective. So 10,000 is what I take during this time of year.
Can kids take them?
Yeah. Yep. So your body's amazing intelligence, and I think it's always good to go back and kind of remember this, because this brings everything back full circle, right? And I pulled some amazing stats that I wanted to share with you, because I am blessed that I get to work with this, the greatest creation machine that was ever created here. But here's what's going on inside of your body right now. So in one drop of blood, little finger prick, some of you that have done nutrition testing, you know that that's not as simple as it sounds, but there's 5 million red blood cells, 7,000 white blood cells, and thousands of platelets. Just one little tiny drop, right? Those red blood cells will live 120 days, and that one little guy there will make 300,000 inner tube trips through your bloodstream in the course of its lifetime. It's really, really cool. Your heart weighs less than 1 pound. It pumps 2.5 gallons per minute, which is about 1.3 gallons per year. Anybody ever done those old-time water pumps trying to get water to come out of the ground? Like, your heart does that nonstop. So there's so much energy output that in a 24-hour period that your heart generates, it could lift 3 fully loaded Greyhound buses up off the ground. That's how much power comes out of the heart that beats in your chest. Your arteries and veins, if stretched out, would be 12,000 miles, and your nerve signals are transmitting 300 miles per hour. So from your brain down to your pinky toe and back, 300 miles an hour, almost as fast as the speed of sound there. And then looking at DNA, and this blew me away. I mean, this is, we're talking about the building blocks that made us, the stuff that literally created us, right? And how God used that. So in your DNA, if you took all the DNA molecules in your body and laid them in a line, it would go from the earth to the sun and back 600 times. That's how much DNA is inside of you right now, creating you and running everything that's going on. And that's like mind-blowing. And the DNA is coiled. You see it's like a coiled double helix there. If they were to stretch it out, it would be 10 billion miles long. So it would go from the earth, your DNA would go from the earth to Pluto and back. That's how much content and genetic material you have inside your body. It's ridiculous. So only 4 building blocks, so A, T, G, and C. All those are what makes, just 4 little different tiny peptides there is what does all of that. And each and every single one of us, we're 99.9% exactly genetically the same. To me, that's mind-blowing too. So you think about, there's very, very, very little that separates, from us. So you think about all these riots and these protests, and it's like, man, if we could just focus on the 99.9% that we're all alike together, we would all be a much, much better place. So parents and children would share 99.5% of the exact same DNA. And look at this. Our DNA, we have 98% the same as chimpanzees. So there's only 2% genetic material that separates us from a monkey, right? And so you think about how powerful even that 2% is that makes us be different from a monkey. We share 50% the same DNA as a cabbage. So you are what you eat in more ways than you knew, right? Or maybe you're more like a monkey than you might have thought you are too, okay? But yeah, I mean, and a banana is about 50% too. So it's like, what the heck? It's like 50% of a change, and you'd be a banana. Like how does that accident happen, right? And 2 grams of DNA, so we took like 2 grams of DNA in there, could store all the digital information in the entire world if it was able to be downloaded onto that 2 grams of DNA. So you think about, like, this computer right here is a 250 gigabyte hard drive. You have your phone that you have, it's like a 12 gigabyte phone. You have your iPod. I have a 3 gigabyte, 4 gigabyte terabyte hard drive that backs up my systems here in the office. So all of that over the entire world would fit in 2 grams of DNA. Mind-blowing, right? And so the same power, literally, that did all that and then did all of this is the same power that did this too, right? That made you in your mother's womb. And here's what we forget, and we kind of get it beat out of us, you know, the brainwashing in society is that the power that formed us in there still is like running us and still inside of us right now. It's just is a matter of is there being interfered with or blocked or not. And I get a bit emotional whenever I think about this because it's like, I mean, that is what I get to work with every single day. I mean, the power that created this is the same power that helps you do, you know, that with your arm, right? Or helping your heart beating and your lungs breathing. So when you talk about brainwashing, the average 18-year-old will see 20,000 hours of drug commercials by the time they hit 18. So you think about if you're 60 right now, how many thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of drug commercials you've seen. And so you may not believe in them, but you can see how that is going to erode us down and think that, oh yeah, I need the vaccine or I need the aspirin, I need the medication, whatever the case may be. It's like, well, no, you need to get this power that made this and that working better inside of your body. So the question is, how well do you want that power working? As well as possible, right? And then the other question is, how long do you want that power working for the rest of your life, right? And so that's, you know, kind of my sort of re-inspiration for chiropractic adjustments and taking care of that, because that's the power that runs and controls that, you know, is your nervous system. So what I'm going to ask of you guys of all, how you can help me, help the office, would everybody willing to help me out? Take 10 minutes out of your day to do that, is to do some reviews, all right? Google review, all right? I've been doing research on this, and the single #1 way that people find things nowadays is Google, all right? So the more positive reviews we have, the more people that are searching for a doctor can come across, you know, read the comments that you lovely people hopefully write, and leave me 5 stars and not 1, hopefully. But really, then it's like people are like, oh, that sounds like something that I want, I'm going to go check them out, right? This is the #1 place people find it. And also the same thing too, that if you ever, you know, told a friend about it, they're still going to go and look on Google or whatever and be like, oh, I want to know a little bit more about where they are. So they can read kind of that without having you be the only one trying to convince them to do that too. So Google, and then also Facebook, and then Yelp. Those are the top 3, all right, that I need your help with. Anybody that does all 3 of those, I'm going to credit 2 adjustments free to your account. Because it'll take you 10-15 minutes to do that, and I want to honor and respect your time. That means a lot to me for anybody that does that. So I'll know when you do it, and we'll credit 2 adjustments to your account. Also, ways that you can connect with us is that if you go on YouTube and you subscribe, if you search, it's all on the sheet of paper, so you get this. If you search Greenlight Chiropractic, you'll find our channel, and you can subscribe to that. So whenever a workshop gets filmed, you'll actually get an email saying it got uploaded. So everybody that was subscribed to they got the email today that the Total Food Makeover thing just got uploaded on there. So, and I have my vaccine immunity talk on there, the advanced nutrition talk. So you can really go back and kind of rewatch a lot of this stuff, or again share it with other people. It's very, it's free stuff. So, and then also if you go to our website drgregbarnes.com, there's a place on there to subscribe your email. I'm going to really focus hard on emails next year, so we're going to give you like a recipe of the week. I'm not going to overwhelm it, I'm not going to be spamming you guys, but it'll be like a good recipe, a good 2-minute health tip, the health article for the week, upcoming events, stuff like that. So we really want to keep you guys as connected as possible, all right? Next 2 events coming up in the office, we're pushing hard through the holidays because being engaged here also helps being engaged outside of there. So we have a community dinner next Monday, actually. It's a week from today at the Twisted Fork at 7 o'clock. So if you have anybody you want to introduce to Maximize Living or helping have a healthier life next year, that's that. We pay for the food. The Saturday after Christmas, we're calling it Back on Track Day. So we're going to do a super fun workout. We're actually going to do a partner workout that day, so it's going to be more fun than pain. But it will be, get your metabolism going again. And we're going to, because we'll be closed, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. We'll be open the day after Christmas a little bit. But we're going to do adjustments on that Saturday from 9 to 11 too. So we're going to have smoothies, just kind of like a health appreciation day too. So if you guys are in town, come in that day, do the little workout, hang out, eat smoothies, have fun, whatever, because it's the holidays, so nothing else to do anyways. Okay? But no, it'd be designed to get you back on track before January 1st, right? So your body is you know, you'll get off track a little bit with that too. So if you need any of the resources, we always do, for honoring your guys' time too, we always do 10% off the resources and the products. That's it. All done. Wish you guys the best for the holidays. I'm sure I'll see you anyways. You better be in before Christmas happens for your adjustments. But if you have any questions, I'll be around for a little bit afterwards, or if you need to get adjusted yet, we can fire that away, okay? Come on up here.